Okay, we're going to give this a try. This is I would just say, impromptu video that I want to put out. And I haven't really thought this thing all that well out, but I've got some things I know I want to say. First off, for those that don't know me, my name is Hudson Reed. I live in Houston, Texas, and I have produced a number of videos. And I think what I will do in this case is I will provide links to those videos, because in order to understand what I'm going to be presenting here, you're going to probably have to have some of that knowledge, particularly the Red Pill America video, which has the most views, probably promoted the most, and so on. But I've made a few notes here. I want to talk about the timeline. It's actually timelines. There are two different timelines right now. There is a timeline that they want us on. They being, maybe you haven't figured it out by now, but somebody is trying to control us. And they do it through the movies, and they do it through the television. And what they want to do through what's called predictive programming, get us to go in a particular direction, which is a timeline. If you look at the movies that are out there now, and there's some of them are over here, I'm not going to get into, I'm not prepared to do a complete slideshow, but I will be showing some slides. But what we're seeing is so much apocalyptic bullshit. And that's the timeline that they want us on. I'm not on that timeline anymore. I've stopped drinking fluoridated water. I smoke marijuana because it helps wake me up. And I'm getting ready to take borax, mullein borax. You just take a pinch with some water, and supposedly it will get the fluoride calcification off your pineal gland. Now, this was off of 8 Coon board, which is QAnon. If you don't know who QAnon is, I'm not going to get into that right now. But QAnon is, to me, just an awesome source, because he validated in October of 2017 what I'd been thinking, 7 years later, because I've been at this for about 10 years. I have just woken up more and more and more because I do the research. And I want to say that first. So when you sit there and tell me how fucking smart you are, you ask yourself how much research you've done. And when you call me a conspiracy theorist, you need to understand where that comes from. That was created by the CIA, and it was used to stop people like us from asking questions about the Kennedy assassination, particularly the ridiculous magic bullet theory. So don't ever use that silly ass name. It's a CIA psyop, okay? If you do the research, I promise you, you will wake up. So many of you do not want to wake up. That's bad. Number one, I don't know about you, but I've been wondering, are we evolving? I've been thinking about this for years. Are we honestly evolving? I would not call war, famine, greed, and all this stuff an evolving species, because we're not. And little do you know, but we're being controlled. I'll go ahead and talk about this screen real quick, okay? But this is Hollywood. They created this for us. And if you don't know, look at Ellen DeGeneres down at the bottom left and this Epstein Island uh, structure. It looks Egyptian, and she has it on her show. And then we have this Pizzagate stuff. And nobody wants to believe it. You know why? You don't want to believe it. You will believe it if you do the research. WikiLeaks let this stuff out a long time ago. And you know what one of the most damaging things is? Is groupthink. I used to belong to a little lunch club, but every time I would meet the group, I would say something about Fukushima or I might talk about something else, and immediately I was shunned. People would get up, rush to the table, and try to tell me to not talk about that. That was what they were getting at. That's called groupthink. And in a group, there'll usually be a leader. I know who the leader is. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say what group it was. But they'll go, those people can't, they will not evolve. In fact, as a group, they hold themselves back. When you hang around with people that haven't done the homework, haven't done the research, there's no growth in that. The growth comes from within. And when we look at things in our life right now, we look at our bodies, these are meat suits. That's what they call us, if you want to know the truth. But this is not who we are. This is discarded. Do you honestly believe there's no such thing as reincarnation? That's brainwashing right there. And that will lead you to think that, oh my gosh, I've got to get my bucket list together before my time runs out. That's nonsense. We're here to learn. We're here to educate. They're holding us back. All this stuff that you're seeing on the screen right here, this is what I would call the Matrix. And these goons, you're starting to find out, aren't who they say they are. They're CIA operatives. They're part of the New World Order agenda. And if you don't know what the New World Order is, it goes all the way back to Nazi Germany. God damn it, please go and do some research. And don't call me a conspiracy theorist. Anyone that calls me that in person, I will leave, or they will leave. Now, maybe something else I wanted to talk about. Let me go back to the timelines. Right now, there are two timelines. There's a positive timeline and a negative timeline. And if you follow this shit, you will be on a negative timeline. Hillary Clinton, had she been elected, that was a negative timeline. Now, you need to ask yourself, how the hell did Donald Trump win the election? And I understand that they knew they were going to cheat. And they put some stops to it. We've also had some help, and I'm not going to go there. But you need to think out of the box because, to be honest with you, I think we're getting help from another species. And I think what's happening to us is happening to other planets. Those are just side notes. You've got to know these people by the symbols. I can't seem to get a mouse going here. But at the bottom center, you see that goat on Ellen? And if you look at Nancy Pelosi's pizza shop in San Francisco called Goat Hill Pizza, you've got to learn their symbols. It's their comms. It's how they communicate. And they use code words like pizza when they're talking about children. Now these people are sick, okay? And many of them, I'm not sure they're human. Now, do I think they're clones? Yes. Since about the 1930s. Since about the 1930s. It's not difficult. Now, when you start uploading consciousness and doing other things, this is what the freaks are doing down in the dumps. And if you can't accept that, you just haven't come far enough because I can prove it. And I certainly can't going to prove it during this presentation. I also want to briefly talk about ascension because we have an opportunity. Maybe you're unaware of what ascension is, but there are videos out there on YouTube. Just go look at them. It is the evolution of mankind, not Darwinism, that ridiculous nonsense. And there are dimensions, there are probably 11 or more dimensions, is what I understand. And creatures like ourselves, we go through this ascension. And it's a choice. Like right now, if you don't want to ascend to the fourth and fifth dimension, you don't have to. But guess what? You get to stay in third dimension, which is duality, which is where all this kind of nonsense exists. You'll be playing with these jackasses in another incarnation, excuse me. So that's what ascension is. And in order to be able to ascend, you're going to have to raise your vibration, your frequency, because that's what we are. We're energy, frequency, and vibration. They put that apocalyptic bullshit in the theaters to keep your vibrations low. They keep us in fear to keep us low. That's why they have all the false flag shootings. That's why they control the weather and scare the shit out of everything, or everybody. 9/11, my God, they killed 3,000 people. And the media, which is part of the CIA, played that damn thing for 3 days straight and traumatized the American people to give up their rights. So yes, we're ascending, but the only way you're going to ascend is you're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to wake up. It's painful, but I want to tell you something right now. Here's the good part. It's going to be beautiful when it's all over with, because they'll be gone. We will get back what they took from us, really. Our multi-dimensional capabilities. Astral travel, if you want to astral travel. No more banking interest and all this, foreclosures and wars and all that. That's the old timeline. If you want to stay on it, knock yourself out. You'll reincarnate on some other planet, though, because Earth is ascending. My understanding is we're going to the fifth dimension. And when you raise your vibrations and go to the fifth, these freaks can't go there. Get it? That's what it's about. But this, I think, in some ways was a learning process for humans. This thing called the Great Awakening it's a really tough nut to crack. But this is humanity's chance to break free. What you don't realize is you're a slave in the matrix. That saying that they are so inured, they are so dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. I see that every day. People come at me and just trash me. And my relatives have done it to me. My son's done it to me. But I hold my ground because I know I'm right. And that, what you're doing is you're holding on to the old timeline, just like a cat with claws, gripping them in and not letting go. It's the fear that they create that makes you dig in stronger. And the fear to get you to get a vaccine, the fear to get a flu shot. I'm not going to get into all of the rest of that crap. But if humans are unsuccessful and we lose this battle, and we need your help, because of the more of us that are awake, the stronger is our meditation. Maybe you've heard about meditation being able to affect certain things, stop things from happening. It's true. Our collective consciousness as humans is extremely powerful once we get it on the same track. And that's why they keep us divided. And I tell you what, I'm kind of like going to stop it here. And I just want to see how many people will view this, because I'm going to see that. And I won't know who viewed it. how many shares there were. I don't care. You can share it. All I want to do is help. But oh no, Hudson's a conspiracy theory. And I'm so much smarter because I watch Fox fucking News. Well, you're not. Bye.